What up, everybody? I am your host, JP, and this is my co-host, Josh.
Hey, everyone.
And welcome back to another episode of the Filmbros podcast. Well, all right, so we got it started. We got it popping. We got all kinds of new... Oh, hey, what up, fam? What's going on, Nessa? Welcome, everybody. Josh, you want good news or bad news today? What do you want first?
Is it DC related news?
No.
Oh, then okay.
There's positive news and there's bad news. So I mean,
then there's DC news.
And then there's DC news, which is always bad news. We already know that's bad.
I'll take bad news.
You'll take bad news first?
Yeah.
Okay. But before we get into that, before we get into that juicy bad news,
Yes.
Josh, let them know, for the people out there in the podcast world, where they can talk to us if they want a movie that they want us to review, if they have any questions about the topics, if they want to give us a topic, if they want to catch one of these live streams or support us in a big way. Go ahead.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at Filmbros Podcast. We post new episodes are up. You can hit us up there for any news or movies you want us to cover. Listen to us anywhere you get your podcasts, at Filmbros Podcast, Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, things like that. Support us in a big way. Buzzsprout, link is in those bios of the socials I just gave you. Supporters get special things just for you guys, and you help us grow our little podcast we got going on around here. Subscribe to our YouTube at Filmbros Podcast, and then be a part of the conversation every Saturday and throughout the week on Twitch at Filmbros Podcast.
Yes. So we're obviously gonna cut into the bad news first. We're going full steam ahead. Josh, it's not looking too good for your boy Jonathan Majors. It's not looking too good. So I guess we did talk about it. October 26th was supposed to be his hearing date.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be, basically the trial was supposed to be whether the judge dismisses or this is going to go into trial.
Yeah.
We're going into trial territory at this point. That judge did not dismiss anything. In fact, some of the files came out and Variety got a hold of them, and apparently Jonathan Majors' lawyers team are manipulating evidence.
Oh, shit.
That's not a good thing. So according to Variety here, all right, and I'm going to read down the whole page because I think it has a lot of interesting little tidbits behind it, and we'll go through all that, of course. Oof, yeah, I know. Hi, Julie. Spoiled Julie. And so, here we go. Majors was arrested March 25th in Manhattan of 2023, accused of assaulting his girlfriend, Grace Jabari, in New York City, right? We remember all that. So, in a new 115-page filing obtained by Variety, prosecutors say they are attempting to get a copy of a London Metropolitan Police report from September 2022. While it's unclear what the report contains, the filing references medical care obtained by Jabari at the time. Jabari is a citizen of the UK, and Majors was in London during that period filming Season 2 of the Disney Plus Marvel series Loki.
Yeah.
Let's break that down real quick. She was in the hospital in care while they were in the UK filming this series. Do you think Majors had anything to do with her medical care?
No.
Or putting her within that hospital?
I don't think so. No.
No.
We would have heard something about that.
It was in the UK. It's a different kind of government, different kind of entity. They don't necessarily need to have brought that up during the court case in the beginning. But when Jabari's out here being chased at this point, and not just her, a couple of other people are coming out. Remember, they're coming to the DA and expressing that Majors isn't the nice guy everybody thinks he is.
Yeah.
So could this report be plausible? Could he have put her in the UK hospital? I'm not sure, but we'll keep going down this article. It gets even better. This development comes a day before Majors has to return to court for his domestic violence case. Wednesday's court appearance is expected to be one of the final pretrial hearings before the judge rules on whether to proceed with or dismiss the case. The lengthy filing from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office is in response to the actor's motion to dismiss the case. It does not entirely lay out the DA's case, though it is intended to provide enough detail to move the case forward toward trial. So it does say here that the abuse victims are cooperating with the DA's office.
Yeah.
The filing also alleges Major's legal team has leaked and misrepresented court evidence, as well as attempted to have police create a wanted poster with Jabari's photo. It also dismisses the idea that the DA has any plans to prosecute Jabari from domestic violence alleged by Majors in a court counterclaim, contradicting recent media reports that claimed such an action was imminent.
Oh
my boy wanted a whole wanted poster. $250,000 for this girl if she's found.
For this blonde lady. No. This isn't good. This obviously isn't a good look.
They misrepresented evidence.
Yeah.
They lied.
Mm-hmm.
They lied.
That lawyer talk for they lied. Damn. Yeah, I don't know, man. This ain't looking good. But I mean, when it always seems to go back and forth with Jonathan Majors. Like, it looks bad. And then it's
been
worse,
a roller coaster, I will say.
And then it looks good. And then now it's looking bad again. I don't know which side to be on.
All right.
I'm still on the fence.
Says that's doing too much. It is doing too much. It is doing too much.
Yeah, but I mean, when you got Jonathan Majors' money, doing too much is on the table.
Yeah, you could do as much as you want as long as the money doesn't run out.
I think the DA just needs his team just needs to continue that racist plea, and that'll be all right.
You guys are attacking him because he's black.
Exactly.
So we go even further, and Josh, the pain just gets worse. I'm sorry, I told you, juicy bad news, man. This is bad news to the 10th degree, because the document also offers new details on the events that led to Major's arrest on March 25th.
Goddamn.
He and Jabari were taking a private car service from a Brooklyn party to their Chelsea apartment. According to the filing, Jabari, who worked as a movement coach alongside Majors on Disney Marvel's Temple, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumanium. Movement coach is basically, she handles his luggage, handles all the stuff. Yeah. Basically, hey, we got to be here at this time. We're going to move.
Yeah.
She allegedly took the phone out of his, saw a text message that on Major's phone that had read, "I wish I was kissing you right now," quote unquote.
Damn.
She allegedly took the phone out of his hands to see who sent the message. Majors then began grabbing the right side of Miss Jabari's body and prying Miss Jabari's right middle finger off the phone, causing bruising, swelling, and substantial pain. The filing continues that Majors then grabbed Miss Jabari's arm and right hand and proceeded to twist Miss Jabari's forearm, causing substantial pain to her finger and arm. The defendant then struck Miss Jabari's right ear, causing a laceration to the back of her ear and substantial pain.
Oh, no.
My boy was trying to hide those messages.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna catch me on no, what's it called? Cheaters?
Where'd they get this from, dude? Where are they getting this stuff from? Because, I mean, first it was two random ladies.
Well, the two random ladies and all that stuff, that was coming from witnesses. That was coming from the lawyer side, people that knew Majors. Remember, we were talking to, they were talking to Majors, I don't want to say servant, butler, whoever who was
like his fucking doorman.
Yeah, his doorman that was working there. They asked a lot of people that knew Majors that would vouch for him. Obviously, they're going to do that. The lawyer is going to look for the right people. While Jabari's side, a lot of people were coming out saying that he, obviously from college, saying that he abused them, that this is not the first time. So it's been like a 50-50 deal. And Majors and Camp over here just asking people that he knows and being like, no, see, I am good guy. Like, that's not the way. Dude. That's not the way that it works. But it even gets worse. Oh, so, after he retrieved his phone, Majors exited the vehicle and Jabari attempted to follow the actor. That's when the defendant grabbed her, picked her up, and threw her back inside and sustained substantial pain, including a fractured finger, bruising about her body, a laceration behind her right ear, and a bump on her head. The filing calls into question a number of media leaks that painted Jabari as the aggressor. In the time since the arrest, Major's criminal defense lawyer, Priya Chaudhary, has alleged that it was Jabari who assaulted Majors and not the other way around. Chaudhary also called the case a witch hunt and one that is saturated with explicit and implicit biases. Majors has pleaded not guilty to the 4 charges leveled against him. A 5th charge of strangulation was dropped. So he didn't strangle her.
Oh, no.
They out for his neck. It looks really bad. Yeah, it does look really bad. At least he didn't choke her. Drop the fifth count.
Yeah, they got everything else but choking the fuck out of her. Yeah, man, I don't know how this. I don't know how to address this. I mean, obviously innocent till proven guilty, but oh my God, does he look guilty? The police are gonna have, not the police, the DA, the judge, and all that are gonna have a field day with this man, and I'm assuming his chicken shit defense team, because I mean they were supposed to be there, but they weren't for October. A few days ago, basically.
No, they were there. He wasn't there.
Oh, yeah.
And Majors wasn't there.
Yeah.
He was.
Then they
he
moved
was
it
somewhere else. But
to
they
November.
were arguing on his behalf, and they still said, no, not enough evidence to say that we're dismissing this case. So we go even further down, and we got even more filings. Like I said, this is a big article, and there's a lot of tea within this Variety post. Majors' lawyers have previously alleged there's a video that shows at least one bystander called 911, and that the NYPD patrol car responded to the location, and the defense has been informed that the NYPD possesses at least one other 911 call from the scene of the altercation.
Yeah.
But the state is casting doubt on this depiction of events. The DA's filing says an unrelated taxi was pulled over nearby and police were called. This taxi is not in any way involved with this case, and the filing says it also alleges there were no other radio runs, sprint reports, or 911 calls from the scene of the incident that night. Chidari has maintained that there is evidence clearing Majors of any wrongdoing, including surveillance video that shows Jabari completely unharmed after the defendant's alleged assault. But the new filing counters this assertion, saying that surveillance video referred to by the defense actually shows Miss Jabari visibly upset, crying, and seeking help from strangers to get an Uber cab home. Major's team has contended that the DA is withholding relevant information. However, the filing says the DA disclosed a substantial amount of discovery that included NYPD memo books, phone records, medical records, signed search warrants, and related affidavits for the defendant's iCloud and phone. Surveillance video from the 8 locations and witnesses interviewed notes from 9 individuals. The Manhattan's DA office declined the comment. Major's attorney also declined to comment. Yeah, so, and obviously his PR team and all that, they run down the PR team, everybody dropping him, his management dropped him, all that, etc., etc. Now his court date is moving to November 16th, and that will be when the trial date starts. I think he's going to need more lawyers' help because that looks awfully guilty, Nessa says. Yes. I think he's going to need a whole camp.
Yeah.
I think he's going to need Logan Paul's lawyers and Nina Paul's lawyers or Nina whoever. This is bad.
For sure.
I told you this was going to be some bad news in the beginning. But we could wash it down with good news afterwards as soon as we get your thoughts on this.
Good luck, Jonathan Majors. I'm not sure how to feel exactly because, I mean, this is bad. This all sounds bad. There's no scenario where I see this turning out good unless his defense team pulls it out their ass and throws a Hail Mary and somehow secures the win. I don't see it going in his favor. It's going to suck having to turn on him. But I did say I'm rocking with him till innocent till proven guilty.
Innocent until proven guilty. Even with all these extra filings that apparently are from the court.
Yeah.
From the DA.
How did Variety get their hands on this?
Man, you just, you slide a little cheddar to somebody's going to give you a little something.
Yeah, but this is some shit.
And this is all public record too. I mean, once it goes into the court and everything, they pull out the little court things and you could look into it. I'm sure you can find it somewhere on the internet.
Okay. Damn. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I thought it was like, I guess I never really thought it was like TV shows where they could just ask for it and they'll be like, okay,
Because once you're in jail, once you're anything like that, everything becomes public record. You're a public criminal basically.
Oh, okay.
So that's why you're able to obtain all these things. All you got to do is know who to ask, and it's a wrap. And then even then it will come on the internet once all that stuff happens.
Yeah,
so
they got to update his Wikipedia.
I think with all this stuff coming out, though I was on the fence earlier, I think he can make it out, but I think it's gonna be a repeat of what happened with Josh Brolin. He's gonna go through the whole case. He's gonna be found guilty. They're gonna have him lay low, and then they'll just bring him back. I think he's one of those that won't be able to be smothered out. I don't think he's one of those actors who will just like James Franco. Like I don't think he's that bad.
Damn.
But I do think this is gonna hurt him a lot. This is bad. All these findings are really bad. I would have said innocent until proven guilty, but all this stuff coming out,
Yeah.
motherfucker sounds guilty.
Yeah.
Motherfucker sounds real guilty.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Sounds like it's gonna be a problem.
I think he needs Logan Paul's PR team and everything. Yeah, no, he really do. That's facts.
Yeah.
He needs NDAs. I don't know why he didn't have Jabari sign an NDA. I don't know why he didn't have all these other people sign NDAs. I don't understand. I know that it's really bad, and this is why I told you, like, you even brought it up yourself. That's why I told you since the beginning that it looks really bad. Because straight out the gate, what did the lawyers do? Biases.
Yeah.
It's because he's black.
Mm-hmm.
He's a black man making it. Now all of a sudden we all want to bring him down. Don't get me wrong, it does happen. But this police report, they haven't even put out a picture of what she looked like that night. I wish we would have seen that. The text messages, that didn't look good either. Hey, I promise I'm gonna make it all go away. That Jabari says.
Yeah.
Nope. DA's gonna pick that shit up.
good.
Domestic abuse once, and I've seen a lot of cop shows. You see me on YouTube. I'm always on it. Domestic abuse. Every single time I see it, it's if the person doesn't want to press charges, the DA picks it up automatically because we cannot let a criminal walk around. You know,
Exactly.
if there's too much evidence that proves that somebody was hurt, DA's taking over.
For sure. That makes sense.
He gonna learn today. Get those NDAs, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's gonna learn today. He's gonna lose out on that Marvel check. He's gonna lose out on roles because his team's over. I mean, he had a bright future in the Creed franchise, and now all of a sudden, that's probably gonna just be lost in limbo. It's bad for this guy. In this report, this filing, it just proves me right that this guy was up to no good, and maybe they should have just took him out of Loki altogether. I don't know.
Ah, man. After watching episode 4, dude, I don't know if taking him out would have been the right move. I think he still does so good as Kang. I don't understand. But yeah, man. This is bad. Clearly this is terrible, and it doesn't look good, and Jonathan Majors just has to recover. I don't think he'll be smothered out either, though. I think he'll come back and have a interesting career.
I think so too. I think he'll have a comeback. Obviously, you'll have those people that are like, "Oh, what? He's able to just come back as a man?"
Yeah.
And blah blah blah.
You'll just like don't forget.
At the end of the day, if he's gonna do his dirt, and they're gonna prosecute him, and
Yes.
he'll probably do some jail time.
Mm-hmm.
If he does jail time,
Yeah.
that will be a career killer. I don't think there's coming back from that. If he does jail time. If he gets a slap on the wrist and they're like, you know what, it was provoked by both. Jabari did hit him too.
That's what I thought, but I guess they said that was false. That she was the one that looked more beat up.
Well, I mean, the most that he had was scratches on his arms or something like that, and that was because obviously if he was bending her finger back, twisting her arm, shoving his arm on her side, she's gonna fight back to make him let go. He is a juiced up man. That boy is stocky, bigger than Logan Paul by all that. And I feel like Logan Paul
came out of Creed, bro. Like,
yeah, that boy's stocky. There's no way. And so, yeah, this doesn't look good. I'm happy that we are getting some kind of movement from this because it just seemed like it kept getting pushed back. But now we're getting to the meat of it. Jonathan Majors is looking bad. This looks terrible on all ends.
yeah.
There's no side that I can even give him a 99% or not even like a 20% doubt at all. Like, I feel like 95% this guy probably whooped the shit out of her. All because a girl texted his phone.
Guess he was probably cheating.
When he's done with Jabari, he's like, "Oh, you're next, bitch." No,
Oh my God.
text her back.
What did I say about text me before 9? God damn it.
Why is Pizza saying that they want to kiss you?
It's like I got that deal.
Jonathan Majors not looking good. He might not be Kang for too long at this point. It doesn't seem like it's likely. And that's sad.
That is unfortunate.
Poor guy.
I liked Kang.
I mean, maybe he's just washing his hands, too, from this whole Marvel fiasco that isn't really doing much for him either.
How?
Well, I mean, he got hired, right? And then he was in Loki. Sure. He did a good job. And then he was in Ant-Man. And that...
I'm sure he was going to do a lot more, and then he got caught up in this bitch.
He got himself caught up in this bitch. That was his fault. Nobody told him to put hands on Jabari. That's just
he
saying.
still got caught up, regardless of who whose fault it was.
Like, what the fuck? He thought he was on the set of Creed or what? Like, what is he doing, bro?
Every time I hear a bell, I just go for it.
Oh man,
go for the knockout every time.
With all this bad news,
Yeah.
let's move away from it and let's
Yes.
get to the good news.
Mhm.
Let's get to the positive news, and that is the Hollywood strike seems to be coming to an end. Both sides are meeting. Last night there was a lot of rumors and talks that, and at the time of recording it's Saturday, so Friday night there was a lot of talks that they were going.
Still talking.
Yeah, they were going through it to the very end.
Yeah.
To the very end. But apparently, sources close to them say that everything's just basically done. That they just need to sign, and that people are already getting articles out ready to announce. I don't know if they're gonna wait the weekend and just announce it Monday. I don't know if they'll do it on a Sunday.
Well, yeah, I'm sure
like
their
they did
lawyers
with
and
the.
stuff sleep.
Did the WGA? Did they get approved on Saturday or Sunday?
They got approved the next week, like Tuesday.
No, but they already had a deal by Saturday or Sunday. But they didn't start putting out posts until like Monday or Tuesday.
Well, yeah, because they put out the post saying that they reached a deal, but they had to get their lawyers to look it over like Monday or Tuesday, and then they reached it by like Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
So they wait the weekend, but they're talking right now through the weekend.
Yeah,
Their talks have been going really well for the whole week, basically. I know the AMPTP was threatening them and was like, this is our best offer. If you don't come back, we're done talking for however long.
Well, they were gone for 2 weeks, and they barely came back.
But that's what I mean. Like they said that if the SAG members can't reach a deal or whatever, they won't come back till January. Is what the AMPT is what they told.
Yeah, they're not going to do that though, because even in this article,
the 2024 slate is crumbling as is. We're not going to do that.
Yeah, the NBC reported that apparently it's costing the California economy about $5 billion with this strike. That they're bargaining. That it feels like there's an end in sight. A second source says that there's an enormous pressure on both sides to get this deal done, et cetera, et cetera. It sounds like they're getting to the meat of it though, and they're already at the point where it might be coming to an end finally.
Yeah. They could probably salvage some of the 2024 slate.
I find it hilarious because there is and we're gonna talk about it. There is a lot of movies that are being moved back. It's been a couple of months for them to be on strike. Yeah, no, it's been almost. The WGA were on 6 months when they finally got it resolved.
Yeah.
And this one's moving on to 4 or 5 already.
Having off the rocks money.
Basically, yeah. And we talked about it last time. George Clooney, all these A-list actors came up and were like, hey, we'll pay if you just let us get back to work. And, Fran was like, it got to come from the AMPTP.
Yeah.
You
Otherwise
can't come out of your pocket.
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's either them or nothing at all. And so now that we're getting to that point where we're going to get our movies back, our shows back,
yeah,
I think every movie got pushed back except for Aquaman. And Aquaman only got pushed back 2 days.
I saw that shit. And they're going to have all their WB movies right there in December.
Yeah, they have Wonka in front. Yeah. They have Aquaman and then The Color Purple. Or whatever it's called.
The movie's called.
And the next week over. So they're basically competing with themselves at this point. Like, why would you do that? But at the same time, I guess Aquaman 2 is not going to be.
They're like,
so
man,
profitable.
one of these has to stick. I think it'll be Wonka though.
I think Wonka would be the one, and I honestly think The Color Purple is a good contender too. It's a old timey movie, so maybe. I think it might be worth a watch. But for sure, Wonka probably will blast Aquaman out the water. Same thing with The Color Purple. But yeah, we're getting to the point where we're finally going to get our movies, our shows. We're probably going to get more news for you guys because people are actually going to be talking about it and leaking. And we're going to have these actors that are just slip up and say dumb shit. Tom Holland, where are you, bro? Where are you in all this? Where has he been?
I don't know. I think after that, after his show surfaced,
that whole butt stuff.
Yeah, the butt stuff.
He got caught in his ass.
Where he was just like, I'm taking a mental break.
I can't do this anymore.
That shit was weird.
Yeah, it's joyous occasion with his girl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's living life with Zendaya. Obviously.
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you? Did you see that Kai Cenat
had a fake
Zendaya on his show? I was like, what the fuck's going on here?
I saw that shit.
She looked identical.
Almost.
I think there was something that
her
made
forehead.
Yeah, there was one thing that threw it off. That was like, no, this is dollar stores.
No, yeah, it was her forehead.
It's all good stuff, but like I said, obviously there's a reason why they're going to be coming down to a deal, and that's obviously because movies are getting pushed back, right? Oh, you're not loading.
Oh boy, technical difficulties.
Hold on. There we go. So we have Disney still pushing things back. We got Rachel Zegler's movie, the Snow White, getting pushed back. We actually got a first image. We're going to talk about it right now in a second. That one wound up getting pushed back. Disney also pushed back Elio. There's a bunch of other movies that are getting pushed back. We talked about it in our last episode. Go check that out. We had a whole list. A lot of shows being pushed back. But a lot of people are thinking the live action Snow White is not because of the strike, but because they are fixing this movie. So we did get an image. Obviously, it's right here. It's the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. But they actually are dwarves now. Coming from reports earlier within the year that this was going to be our bunch of regular people.
Yeah.
The 7 regular guys.
Yeah.
And maybe one dwarf. I don't know. That they decided that after all the backlash, we're going to go ahead and CGI dwarfs in there. And that's, I honestly believe, and hear me out, this is probably my take. Okay? This is my take.
Yeah.
I don't think that this movie's getting pushed back because of the fact that the strike or anything like that. I believe this movie's getting pushed back because they're going to CGI all these dwarves in there. See, all these dwarves are CGI in this picture right here. For those not listening on the podcast or that are not here on the live stream, go look it up. It's on the internet. It's all over the place. But we did talk about it a few months earlier that this was what people, the Daily Mail, we seen a lot of conservatives, Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, Matt Walsh, all these people, right? All these people that are conservatives completely just fucking dunk on this shit. You could not go anywhere without people saying that this movie is going to be trash because of this, because of the comments that Rachel Zegler was saying at one point, weird, all that good stuff. I don't know, man. What do you think? Do you think that this is because of the strike, or do you think that they're actually going in there and they're going to CGI these dwarves?
I'm sure it has to be a bit of both. Maybe they're taking the time because of the strike to update it a bit, make sure that there's actual dwarves in there. I think it might be a bit of both. I'm not sure. How much of the movie can really be done besides what's already been filmed? Obviously, this picture and stuff. I imagine there's not much in this movie other than small scenes like that. And they were just like, well, people kind of don't like Rachel Zegler right now. They need a reason to watch this, so they're bringing back the dwarf. Yeah,
they can't reshoot the whole movie. Apparently, there's supposed to be a trailer that's supposed to be coming out. A lot of people think that it's gonna show up around the time. There's one more Disney movie that's supposed to come out right this year. Do you know what it is?
I don't think so.
And that apparently a trailer is supposed to be coming before the end of the year, in the upcoming weeks, that we should see a first glimpse of this Snow White movie. It is going to be controversial, Nessa, obviously because of the fact that this is what a lot of people were thinking it was going to be, and then obviously Rachel Zegler's comments didn't help that either. Oh, this isn't 19 whatever anymore, and we don't need
to be saved by a prince.
Yeah, and you know what? We can totally cut out the prince altogether, and it wouldn't change the story at all.
Peter Dinklage calls dwarves a slur or something like that.
So, and the reason why I think is, hear me out, controversial for me, they would rather CGI dwarves than actually get real dwarves. Actually get real people that are short and that can actually, do it. Or, maybe get actual actors and then hobbitize them like they did in The Lord of the Rings. They would rather do CGI dwarves than just have casted the right people and just went on with that. Yeah. Fucking Peter Dinklage. Yeah. Like, you could have been in this movie.
For sure.
You could have been the lead dwarf.
That's fucked up. Well, yeah, because, how else are you supposed to get that cartoonish, like look? You know what I mean?
That could be another thing. Disney can be hearing the fans and being like, well, we don't like this hyper-realistic shit, Lion King, Little Mermaid, blah, 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 blah. Let's go ahead and actually make it into a cartoon.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing, because say you do get real little people, right?
Said I think they should have real little people.
Yeah.
The correct term is dwarf. Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to call them little people anymore.
Yeah.
I think that's politically incorrect.
I'm not sure the real term. I don't really know people like that.
But I know you can't call them midgets either.
You're not. That's the one I was trying to avoid.
Oh, okay.
You're not supposed to call them things like that. It's rude. Quote a portion of people. But you're not supposed to call them those things. Like, I let the intrusive thoughts win there, but you're not supposed to call them that thing. But say they get people like that. White people are gonna find a way to be offended at that sort of thing. You know what I mean?
That
They'll
is
be
true.
like, why'd they do that when they could CGI colored people and give us colored dwarves, whatever? I don't think there's any way to put it other than they really just wanted that cartoony look, that how they look. Scroll down a bit. Like, see, they want that little, like, fat, pudgy dwarf looking vibe.
With the big nose and all that.
Yeah, like the really cartoonish looking, like, look. But I think they could have went the Lord of the Rings way.
And
like,
actually had, like, small people and
yeah,
put
like,
prosthetic noses.
I know she's in hot water, but how'd they do it in Harry Potter?
Harry Potter with who?
Well, they're dwarves.
Oh, they actually had the what's the name? The choir guy?
Yeah.
He was an actual dwarf.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's
well,
real.
see, like, he was believable. Like,
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, you're not taking tall people and making them walk along their knees. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, you should have someone who actually understands what it's like. And I know you could probably CGI those people to stretch them out and make them fat or whatever, but at that point, you really got to take the bad with the good.
You're just VFXing it anyway, so might as well
Yeah.
just go all CGI. It'll probably be cheaper.
Yeah.
Really, I thought they preferred little people. No, they're just people.
Yep.
They're just people.
Mm-hmm.
They're not little.
They're just people.
They're just people.
They're people that can't get on roller coasters.
But they're just people.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just think that this movie is gonna obviously meet traffic. I don't think this movie is gonna be the hit they think it is, even if it has dwarves in it or not.
No, I think it's already been ruined. I think
Rachel Zegler's little infamous press tour kind of ruined it.
that ruined it.
I know people were defending her and they were all like, hey, you know, she's the perfect casting or whatever. This, I'm sure she is, but she just doesn't know how to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if she could sing.
I think we could have done a better Snow White. I think we would have went
Snow White. No,
Eliza Gonzalez, the girl from I talk about her a lot, but I think she would have made a good Snow White. She was the girl that was in ambulance. The girl in the back in the actual ambulance. I think she would have made a good one. Rachel Zegler, I thought she was up and coming, and I thought Disney probably got a deal, and they were like, hey, you know, she's an upcoming star. We can actually propel her to that point. But then she decided to.
She just doesn't know how to shut up, man.
Yeah, she decided to say the things that she said, and here we are now. This movie's going to be ruined. It's going to be just like The Little Mermaid. It's going to be like every other Disney movie that decided to come out, and that's only because of the fact that she decided to talk her shit. And on top of that, when Peter Dinklage came out and was like, well, we're not going to be any dwarves in this movie. That is so old school, and we're not going to do that. And all of a sudden, Disney's like, you know what? Maybe we're not going to listen to these people. Maybe people actually want to, you know, watch what they watched when they were kids. Yeah. So, I mean, we're getting to a good point where
Disney's starting to listen.
Yeah, they're self-correcting.
Yeah.
And that's
hopefully.
Yeah. Well, obviously,
after the Little Mermaid, I still question that.
And I guess this puts us to rest too, hearing that a trailer's coming out, because there was a lot of we didn't even know if this movie was completely shot. There was rumors going around that they were completely cutting Rachel Zegler's role from this movie.
That would be fucking insane.
There was a lot of conversation going around. So hearing that there's a trailer in the tube, hearing that you know we got images like this with actual dwarves in it, and it's not this anymore. Regardless, I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, you guys were wrong. You guys just picked up a picture and you guys were just running with it." Blah 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 blah. Does this not look like the Snow White that's here, just with her red hood on? And I mean, they could have easily just removed these people and CGI'd them.
Yeah, Snow White and the 7 hippies. They're gonna be getting high apparently, and smoking that grass. It's not the devil's. It's not the witch's apple.
Are you trying to say that little people are gonna get high? Is that what you're trying to say?
That would be hilarious, wouldn't it? No, that joke would have been perfect, but no, that's not what I was saying.
We are moving on. So, Blue Beetle director. Obviously, we're gonna have a little bit of DC in here, and this is for you. Blue Beetle director Angel Manuel Soto decided to come out and say that him and James Gunn have been having conversations. Yeah. That apparently things are rolling with the ball when it comes to Blue Beetle being in the new DCU, and a lot of people were saying, is he gonna be there? does he even have a role for this? Is how is Jaime, is the original actor, going to be there? Apparently, the director and Zolo Muena,
Mariduena, something like
yeah,
that. Zolo, I'm calling him Zolo.
Zolo, yeah. That apparently it is going to happen. They're going to be going to the DCU. So Soto revealed during the interview during Screen Rant, saying that that Gunn had brought up the Booster Gold series when discussing Blue Beetle's future in the DCU. Now, where does it fit in? How is it going to play out? We haven't talked about that, but we both have talked about our interest in continuing Jaime's story and finding a way for that story to be part of this new universe. Although he had already said that Blue Beetle is the first hero of his universe, it was very reassuring to know that Zolo Manduerna is going to still play Blue Beetle, which means that what we were able to enjoy and absorb in this movie serves as a foundation to the character of Jaime as he embarks into this new world.
Yeah.
He goes on to say, while Booster Gold typically teams up with Ted Kord's Blue Beetle, he has occasionally worked with Jaime Reyes. Soto discusses what he sees, and this is what he says. For me, I always like the idea of Ted Kord and Booster Gold doing adventures, and then this message being sent as a warning of something that eventually Booster Gold is the one that's able to bring Jaime into the mix or tap Kord's expertise through Booster's time-traveling powers. So for me, one of those things I definitely want to see are Booster Gold and Ted Kord. I want them to be part of Jaime's future, Soto said. Is that promising for you? Have you seen Blue Beetle?
No.
Blue Beetle?
Blue Beetle? No, I haven't. Heard it was alright. Heard it was nothing spectacular. Heard it was just another DC movie.
I heard that final fight's pretty bland.
I've seen clips of it. You want to talk about dark in DC movies? Couldn't see shit in that. You know what I mean? You know how they were like, Zack's movies were too dark and you couldn't see anything? That movie had no light in it at all in that final fight. They were so bullshitting.
Oh, I haven't seen the whole thing. I just things that I've heard.
You haven't seen clips?
Mm-mm.
I don't even know if it's...
I'll see little gifs of them fighting with the dude in the red suit or like Jaime punching or whatever, and that's about it. I haven't seen full on like episodes, clips and all that. So
okay, well, I'm sure the plan was to always bring him in. I know James Gunn's little map Broadway map never really made sense. Where he's like, oh no, he's the first character, but he's not the first movie or whatever. Like, how does that work? Who the fuck knows? But I always figured that, yeah, they'd bring him in. I mean, people really liked him. I'm not sure what the return was on the box office.
110 million.
Oh, well, there you go. But
better than The Flash, worse than Shazam.
I think that's funny. I just think when DC's really thriving, he'll find his footing. But it's just he got caught in a dead slate.
Who, Jaime or?
Oh well, everybody involved in
this movie. Yeah, they basically got ramped up to do a different vision that didn't turn out to be the vision anymore. So
yeah,
and now we're at the point where, I mean, who knows? Maybe Chris Pratt is gonna play Booster Gold. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna hear more casting as whenever this SAG strike blows over.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not that well versed in DC Comics, so this is probably your department. But would you want to see this mashup, Ted Kord with Booster Gold?
Well, yeah, they're an iconic duo. Almost like Batman and Robin, The Flash and Green Lantern. Like they're just that kind of superhero duo. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. They're both tech based. They don't really have powers. It's a nice matchup. I haven't read much with them. Again, I don't really care for Booster Gold. I know people do. I know I don't. And then you got everyone else who's kind of like, yeah, no, this is cool. And I mean, it would be nice to see it. I mean, would I prefer to see them over Batman and Superman or Batman and Robin? No, but that'd be cool to see them somewhere down the line.
So you're excited for Booster Gold?
Not really.
No. Oh, but it'd be cool to see him down the line.
I guess.
Okay. All right. Just because you're a DC fan and you want to see these characters come to life.
At least I can say that I saw it happen.
Okay.
But, like, again, not my preference.
I mean, you could say you saw a Peacemaker happen.
That was disgusting.
Oh.
Didn't even know it was a thing till James Gunn brought him up. So I mean, I guess.
I guess.
The 1990 something, or not even 1970 something character that had like one appearance in the comics is finally making an appearance back. I mean, make it make sense.
I see your thought process. I mean, I haven't seen Blue Beetle either, so I think it's on HBO Max now. I think
I have to get around to watching it.
I gotta watch it too. Obviously, we've been dealing with this.
Make it into your top 10.
Yeah, no.
You don't even know yet.
Yeah, no. I highly doubt. If Black Adam with Henry Cavill couldn't make it to my top 10, this movie's definitely not gonna make it to my top 10.
Yeah, but this one didn't have Henry Cavill in it.
DC has been flopping hard, bro. Harder than a fat kid jumping off the diving board and just flopping.
That's messed up.
Yeah. That's very hard. Moving on, though. Somebody that we probably not going to see at all, according to James Wan.
Saw this.
It's Batman.
Yeah, I saw this.
No Batmans. No Batmans.
No Batman.
When asked by Empire magazine whether or not we're going to see a Batman, James Wan had this to say, and it was pretty cut and dry.
Okay.
Probably not. All I'll say is that those scenes were just to have something in the bank in case we needed to explain time continuity. If we came out first, but it ended up with Lost Kingdom coming out after The Flash. So they recorded not one, but 2 Batman cameos in case of wherever Aquaman 2 was supposed to land at the end of the day. It sounds like they're like, well, it's going to be all erased anyways. Why even put Batman in there? And for me, that's a giant fuck you for those that were actually expecting Ben Affleck back. Because when we were hearing Michael Keaton was going to make an appearance in Aquaman 2, nobody gave a fuck. I ain't hear nobody talking about it. But when we heard Ben Affleck and Jason Momoa were together, hanging out, buddy, whatever, blah, 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 that he was coming back, people went crazy. And we're not going to even get to see what the fuck they made, bro. Dude. Aquaman 2, man.
It just keeps happening.
Fuck this movie, bro.
Yeah, it just keeps happening.
I love James Wan, but fuck this movie. He came into the wrong. He's in the wrong franchise. He should have probably bowed out after the first one.
Yeah, take his chips and go. Leave the casino.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, basically. I don't know who would have done the second one. I couldn't even give you another person who could have done a second Aquaman film, but. No Batman, dude. Come on. They really know how to shoot themselves in the foot. Like, I'm sure this would have drew in fans to some capacity, but now no one really, not that I know anyone who really cares about this Aquaman movie.
Yeah, no. I've asked a bunch of people and nobody. Nessa, if you're still out there, let me know. Are you excited for Aquaman 2? Or are you going to watch Aquaman 2? I'm kind of curious if you're interested, or Frey, let me know. But I don't see any interest.
Yeah, no.
I've not heard any interest. Everybody that I talked to, they're just like, there's another Aquaman movie coming out. Like, nobody knows that a sequel is supposed to be happening. Nobody. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, how does a superhero movie at that, where superhero movies are like flying high, or right now it's not really flying high. Well, they're supposed to be flying high. Like, how did nobody know that a sequel to Aquaman 2 was supposed to be happening?
Yeah. Marketing is so ass, dude. Like, DC's marketing team has just been so ass. And I know what I'm about to say is going to be glazing. I don't really care.
Oh, God, he's going to glaze so hard.
But there was a time where DC movies had good marketing. Back before James Gunn took over. No.
Back in the day, when Zack Snyder was still there.
Yeah, had hella good marketing. Like, remember that LexCorp commercial?
You remember the Dr. Pepper, the Dr. Pepper cans?
Yeah,
the Batman v Superman Dr. Pepper cans.
That shit was everywhere. Dawn of Justice was everywhere. Like, the marketing was always on point. And now you get one trailer 1 month out before the movie goes.
Yeah. Yeah, and
like, what happened?
Who caught the trailer? Nessa said Ray said he isn't really looking forward to it, and she also said I probably won't watch it either. So,
see,
there you have it. Nobody's gonna watch this movie, man. It's gonna be as empty as The Flash.
Yeah,
The Flash was completely like
The
empty.
Flash was
Black
empty.
Adam had at least some people in there.
Yeah.
Shazam
was
had
there.
a little bit of people in there.
Yeah, Shazam.
And then what was after that? The Flash came out.
Flash.
That there was nobody in that
bitch was
seat.
empty.
Blue Beetle has nobody in the seats either. And now we're getting to Aquaman 2 where nobody's gonna be there. I'm part of the cult of Snyder.
There you go.
Fucking
Cultured.
fucking A, Nessa. Fucking A. I hope Ray feels the same way. I hope Ray feels the same way. But that's when the movies were great. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
That's when things were actually connected. You know, Man of Steel, BVS, Zack Snyder's Justice League, all that stuff. And then, you know, we dwindled down and watered down and got to the point where we're at now. But it's fine. Aquaman 2 is going to drown just like all the other DC movies.
Yeah.
And hopefully your boy James Gunn will pick us up from the mud.
Your boy James Gunn.
My boy.
Yeah.
Your boy.
Yeah. You're the one that likes watching the Suicide Squad.
Didn't I hear you say, oh, I love Peacemaker. I love that toilet bowl on his head.
You know damn well if I say that, it's not me.
I swear you glazed the scene in the Suicide Squad where like the helmet and the camera's going around it and he's fighting with Rick Flag.
No.
Yeah, you were like, oh, that's a hard scene.
Dude, I don't even remember that movie that well to give you that scene. I've only seen that movie once. And that was when it first came out.
Oh, yeah?
I have not watched it since.
Damn, I've seen it multiple times. Ray kind of doesn't like these new movies from DC. Yeah. No, I don't think anybody. I don't think anybody likes them.
Yeah.
Obviously, the box office speaks for itself, and nobody's watching it. And even on Max, nobody watched it on Max either. It's free, but nobody's watching it. Blue Beetle, I don't even know when it dropped. I know that it dropped a while ago, but we've been too busy with this Halloween stuff. But it's just there's no interest in DC right now.
Yeah.
And maybe there'll be a little bit of peaked interest when James Gunn comes out, but who knows if like this bad taste in everybody's mouth is even gonna allow that to happen.
Yeah.
Like we're already at the point where they're gonna be like, oh well, Jason Momoa is not gonna be Aquaman anymore. So who's gonna be Lobo?
Who's gonna get that? If you're not in the know, it's gonna be hard to watch these movies. Basically.
Yeah, it is what it is. But you know what else? Oh, I'll just say you don't want to see Gen Z. You Gen Z people. Apparently, Gen Z and all their people want less sex in movies and TV shows and more platonic relationships. Is this you?
Hell
you want to
no.
see sex in TV?
No, I actually.
I want to see.
I actually want to see more. That's actually so funny because even when you have platonic friendships in shows and stuff, you still get people who like write fan fiction about, you know, these characters like having sex and stuff like that. So you're fine not watching it, but you're fine writing it in your dirty little diary. You sick freaks.
Oh my, you sick fuck. It's just notebook after notebook of just like dirty
like
shit.
That's the thing, like, because you can't think about. I guess the biggest era was when Captain America and Winter Soldier was coming out, or Falcon and Winter Soldier. You know, Sam and Bucky were just friends, and you had like people who were shipping them and things like that. Like, well, no, they're just best friends. Like they just play like that. But you had them writing gay fiction about them and things like that, and it's like you can't just have platonic because you have people who would want to see them do the deed. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, I'm gonna counter that with something because I do think that there is a shining certain things that I as me seeing with TV as it progresses. Nessa says I need more romance and seeds. I feel like it would be a bit boring. Oh, so Nessa wants to see sex. You dirty birdie, you're one of those book holding motherfuckers, I swear. But
show us your copy of 50 Shades of Grey.
Honestly, she probably has it on repeat. Yeah. Can I do so? I don't even know how that movie goes. Anyways, so in a recently released UCLA Teens and Screen study conducted by Center of Scholars and Storytellers in August, surveyed 1,500 adolescents between the ages of 10 and 24 and found that most of them want to see less gracious sex in movies and television and more friendships instead. Goes on to say, as demonstrated in this report, adolescents have grown tired of stereotypical heteronormative storytelling that valorizes romantic and or sexual relationship, especially ones that are toxic, and are looking for more representation of friendship, which is core aspect of adolescence and social well-being in social well-being. The study found that 51.5% of adolescents want to see more content focused on friendships and platonic friendships. So a good chunk. I've downloaded it.
Damn.
She did download it. And here's my counter thing. Okay,
Yeah.
and I can understand this because you have shows like Euphoria.
That was the one that first came to mind.
You have shows like Riverdale.
Yeah.
You have shows like what other shows? You have shows that new that 70s show. That or the 90s show, whatever.
Yeah.
They I've seen a little bit. They're friends, but then they're also trying to ship some of them. You can obviously tell. And to me, I think that we should be able to go back to the time where it was just, friends. I mean, that 70s show, it was just friendship. Friends was friends. And then, they shipped up a couple of other ones. But, obviously it was having some weird, what do you call it? They were having some weird within the group. Obviously, it's real life. You have the homie hoppers. You have the friends. You have the ones that pair up and actually get a relationship. That's real life. But then you got shows like Euphoria and Riverdale that are like, oh, it's so dark. I do drugs. I'm going to suck his dick. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, why?
Yeah.
We're friends, but I'm going to suck his dick anyways. Like, why? If you guys are friends, are you just going to, like that? To me, I think that we need more shows like that because I think it's really throwing a lot of this new generation off where, they're not seeing these friendships and they just feel like they got to stick their dick somewhere or something.
No. I mean, Euphoria is an extreme case, right? I guess anything by HBO, you're gonna get those kinds of things.
What about that 90s show? That's on Netflix.
I didn't finish it, so but I do know that they were shipping them, and they were trying to be friends at first. But right out the gate, they immediately started that whole relationship thing with what's his name's kid, Venom, the dude that played Venom's kid, and then Ashton Kutcher's kid in the show. Like, I know immediately they were trying to set them up to be a pair or whatever. I don't know how it ended because, again, I didn't finish it. But I know that that's where they were trying to go, and I'm sure as season move forward, they're going to try and develop that depending on how it goes. How I Met Your Mother, I know that one. I've seen bits of that one. Friends, I've watched Friends repeatedly. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I've watched it.
That was about friendship, and then they shipped one person, but the rest of them, it was all friendship, and that was really good too, right? Yeah. So and that's a good example.
And, like, that's the thing. In extreme cases like Euphoria, where it's trying to be dark and edgy and show you that sex and drugs and all that is a real part of life.
I'll push it further. 13 Reasons Why. That one really showed that kind of stuff, and they're like, oh, we're trying to show you guys the perspective of teens and blah, 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 blah. But when you're in high school, that should never happen. You never dealt with any of those things.
Never had a broom go up, like,
Oh my God! It's like that's
like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the extreme shit.
I never been bullied. I never had anybody shove me in a locker.
I've never done Molly. Like, it's not. It's not a thing.
I mean, if you never done Molly, that's a regular high school. Like, you never hit the milestone. I don't know what to tell you.
Man, no.
I like True Blood from HBO. True Blood. I've never seen that one. I've never seen that one, so I wouldn't be able to like speak on it. Does that one have like platonic friendships, or is that one just like a lot of sex?
I think it just started becoming a thing because, I mean, think about like the 80s, right? I can't stand 80s horror movies only because
they feel the need to show tits.
Yeah. And you're kind of like, well, that for me it throws me out of it. I'm like, oh, all these horrors and screams and stuff.
So much blood and guts, and then there's titties.
like no, it throws me out of it, and I get that. And for me, it's just random placement. But I feel like once 50 Shades of Grey came out, it was just more taboo. It was becoming less taboo to like show these things and talk about it. That's when things started picking up. Like, again, Euphoria came out, things like that. That 365 movie, I think you might have heard of it, where I forget the premise, but that one's all about sex too and things like
They're
that.
just fucking for 365 days out of the year?
I don't know. I think he holds her hostage and forces it. I don't know. I haven't seen that fucking movie.
Okay.
But, like, it's just those kinds of things now that it's all becoming taboo. And while those are the extreme cases of things, you could just not indulge in that and watch shows where you get that platonic stuff.
So you think that there's still revenue where there's just shows where they're just platonic friends?
Well, yeah.
Well,
and then there's revenue for those freaks that just want to watch them with that.
Yeah, but I mean,
then there's porn.
But like, you got to understand too, where are you gonna go for your high quality stuff? You're gonna go to HBO. You're gonna go to Netflix, maybe Paramount, whatever. You're gonna get all your shows from there. But if all your shows are just unnecessary sex and unnecessary like shipping of people, then why even watch? It's kind of like there was a show that I was watching that I had gotten into, and then it was supposed to be about survival, but then it went into relationships and all these people and blah blah blah, and I'm just like, that's not what I'm here for. Like, I don't want to see them fucking on an island. That's not. I get it. You have that urge. You have that need. Get it done. But do we have to show that? Do we have to, like, if I like when it makes sense? If you're building this love story and then eventually you have to have that sex scene to kind of solidify, like, they're moving on and they're doing something different. That's different. Whereas Welcome to You or what is that show with The Weeknd, The Idol? And then right off the bat, the fucking Haley Bailey was getting railed in the back by some black dude. Oh, it's like, why was that even necessary? And that was the first scene in the show. Like, everybody talked about it, and then they were just like disinterested after that. Like, that was the first scene in the show. Why do those things and turn off a fan base that it's really, let's be honest, you're there for the actors, you're there for the show, you're there for some kind of story. And if all you're going to see is people getting fucked, man, go to Pornhub, dog. Like, is that easy?
Basically. I don't know. I think it's a mix of both. I know there's an argument for both ways. Because, again, those are extreme cases. And then there's other things where it's like, yeah, you get that little relationship and the occasional, not sex scene, but something that alludes to them doing it. And then, wake up the next day like they're in bed, whatever. Like, I know you haven't watched Gen V, but, there's all those scenes in there too. And it's kind of like, okay, yeah, but they're still in high school and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's a bit extreme depending on how you look at things. Because, yeah, you can pull Euphoria. At the same time, on the opposite end of the spectrum, you could pull out a show from, like, I don't know, some like On My Block, I guess. I think you've seen that one.
I think there's a show out there called Sex Education. I think it's on Netflix.
I saw the first season.
Yeah, there's a show out there called Sex Education.
Yeah. Again, high schoolers.
The show that really had me in the beginning, and then I didn't like when they started, like, well, they didn't really do it. I think On My Block was a good one.
That's why, On My Block.
That one was a good one. That was about friends. Mm-hmm. They didn't really ship anybody. They played with the idea, but they never actually did it. I think Rudy was the only one that was actually getting in a relationship with that rowdy Mexican chick or whatever. I forgot her name. And then you had that other girl that was getting into it with the gangster dude. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of like, that was fine because it was one love interest in a group of friends, and then the rest of them was just all friends. So that show made sense, and that wasn't too bad. But then you got other shows like you said, like Euphoria and all that, where it's just, oh yeah, drugs, guns, and then sex.
Yeah, because I guess it's extremes like that where I guess you wouldn't want to see it, because I mean, think about it. They highlight.
It's just unrealistic.
That's why. Have you seen season 2?
I've not. I started watching it. I think.
Care about spoilers?
Not really. I think it was the scene where I got to the point where they're in the house party, and I was just like, this is unreal. There's no way. It's just not real.
Oh, you didn't see the part where Fez beats up, what's his name?
Yeah, I seen that.
Oh, I love that scene. I don't know why. I just like that he comes up to him and then hits him with a bottle and beats on him. Like, perfect scene. But that was off topic.
Yeah.
But I guess if you don't care about spoilers, look, that blonde chick, what's her name?
Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney's character falls in love with Nate Jacobs basically. Mm-hmm. And they're highlighting that that they're toxic or whatever, and that all they do is like screw around, things like that. And so that's the thing, because when you highlight negative things like that, that's what turns you off about it. People just want to see it grow from friendship to that, I guess, not just, hey, I'm a screw you here and then be toxic along the way.
No, I think people are okay with that. I just think it's when you start substituting that whole emotional factor and just putting in the sex part, right? Like, I would love to see them struggling with their toxicity and stuff like that, but then they just make it into a sex love triangle between her and the other.
Remember Teen Wolf?
Teen Wolf. That one didn't have a lot of sex. That one was actually really good. They were all platonic friends. I think the only one
No,
that
Scott and what's her name were getting it
Allison,
on like
yeah.
every other episode.
Allison, but they made it a love interest, but it wasn't like the rest of the gang was all friends. The only love interest was Allison, and she wound up being part of the pack or whatever later on, and they didn't even date after season 2, I think. And then she wound up biting the dust, I think, in 3 or 4.
She dies in 4, dates what's his name,
And then comes back
3.
naked in the movie.
I gotta watch that movie. No, but I don't know.
So you're not part of the Gen V, I guess.
I don't agree with this. I don't agree with not wanting to see it because I think there is a place for it, just depending on where you stand on any aisle of it.
And Euphoria did have a large following too,
Yeah.
so there is a fan base that want to see it. But who knows if that's just people that are, dirty birdies like Nessa over there.
Yeah, I download a book of 50 Shades of Grey. Like, look at your digital footprint. No, but I don't know. I can't vibe with this. I don't share this opinion at all. Because, I mean, I can like a good platonic friendship, and then I can like, I know when
A
good
relationship when you see one.
like for characters and things like that. Like,
Yeah.
I'll always like Robin and Starfire from Teen Titans, like Beast Boy and Raven, things like that.
But they all started as friends.
That's why, like, normally. But that doesn't mean I need a show to see them like do it. You know what I mean? Like, that's just weird.
Well, that would be cool if like they all start as friends and then eventually like like I said, like Teen Wolf or not like Teen Wolf, but like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They're all friends, they're all coworkers, whatever, and then eventually they start planting the seeds. Like, hey, their friendship is growing into something more. That makes sense because that happens a lot. But then you just kind of throw us in a toxic relationship where they're just fucking and fighting, and it's like, well, am I invested in this? Like, do I get enough of this in the real world?
Like, you need I guess that's where you need the story aspect to keep you riled in. Like is Sydney Sweeney's character and Nate, they're doing it behind what's that Maddie's back or whatever. Like, is she gonna find out? That's the whole tension there. But like in the case of like, well, yeah, she does. Spoiler alert. But in the aspect of things, like, you could just live without it. You could just not watch it at that point. But there is an audience who's into it. Sex Education wouldn't be on its last and 4th season if there wasn't a demand for it. Big Mouth, I told you about that show. That show wouldn't be on the 7th season if it wasn't demand on it. That one talks about all types of shit. And,
I'm just thinking of like all these Gen Z people that are like, enough sex. Like, they're just watching the show and they skip the sex scene. They're just like, nope.
You're like,
nope.
Nah, I don't know.
Wow, sex hair. But it's fine. I mean, I don't share this. I think there is a time and a place for sex and, boobs and stuff like that or whatever, all that stuff. It's just, I'm sure it's more of the younger crowd that are just trying to watch a show and not be embarrassed when a parent walks in the room, because, there's some families where, you can't. I know it was very difficult. Like, if I was watching, when I was younger, when I was watching something with mom or whatever, and it was like, then a sex scene comes on, and I'm just like, look, do I not look? Am I allowed? Like, so I'm sure there's those dilemmas as well. It's just more like it's that preference. And I think the younger crowd might not want to see it only because it's true. I honestly believe that half the shit that happens in Euphoria and all that doesn't happen in real life. I think you start off as friends, you make friends, you got to have that social aspect. And then you have all these people that see these shows and all of a sudden they're just like, well, they're doing that in high school. I'm not doing that. So what am I doing wrong? So
and then they turn to cocaine. No.
And Molly and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Moving on, though, we also got word that apparently there's a rumor going around from Daniel RPK. He's a scooper on Twitter and, a reliable one at that apparently we are getting a Thor 5. It is currently in development, but we might not be getting Taika Waititi back. Your favorite director?
He's not.
I know you love Love and Thunder. I know you watch it on the low. Stop playing with me.
I'd rather...
Gord the God Butcher? Loved him.
You can show me a Saw movie. I could probably watch all 10 Saw movies before I watch this one again. But that includes Spiral. But this is nice, I guess. I think after Thor 4, the director, whoever they pick up to direct, is really going to have to draw me in because Thor 4 and Thor 3 weren't my cup of tea. So
you weren't a Ragnarok fan.
Yeah. like I guess maybe you could just call me a not Taika Waititi's fan for his vision basically, but the director is gonna have to entice me to be like, come watch, and then maybe I'll watch.
I know a lot of people were saying that they want more of a realistic take, like medieval Thor kind of thing. Would you be okay with that, or do you want to see something along the vein of like Infinity War Thor, or like even like Thor 2? Like that Thor was pretty fire too.
Mm-hmm. Like,
or do you want to go back to the English yellow eyebrow Thor one?
That's funny. No, I mean, I guess somewhere between, I guess, the Russo brothers and that little peak of before Thor 3 is the soft spot, I guess, because the way they had him in the Avengers movies, I really fucked with.
Like, what about Endgame? Him being all fat and all that.
I was fucking with his character.
Yeah, still.
Yeah, I mean, and at the end, he turned into a badass anyway, and so like he got the job done, and I think that still works. But I mean, that fool was killing it in Infinity War. Like that's peak Thor to me. Just him being the god and things like that, a powerful god at that. That was my peak. I don't think, again, the person that picks it up is just gonna have to be. The Vision's going to have to be really good. It's going to have to be better than Thor 4, obviously. And it's just going to have to advance his character in a good way. Mm-hmm. And hopefully reunite him with Loki. Because that's one of my stakes in this all. Like, I want to see them reunite. And I know it's possible after watching Loki.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And apparently there's a rumor, and take it with a grain of salt. Spoiler maybe for Thor 5, but apparently that there's word going around that they want to reunite Tom Hiddleston and Chris Hemsworth to just kill off Thor. Would that jive? Would that be a cut off your jib or what?
I could see that. That'd be cool. If they decide, I know how that sounds, but I know if they decide to kill Thor with Loki, like regress all his progression basically, then obviously I won't be into that. But like that's the thing, because the thing about the Loki show and the thing about the Thor movies, they haven't addressed it at all. Like this Thor lived through losing his brother and things like that
twice,
like 3 times.
Oh yeah,
Infinity War is like the 3rd time I think. And Loki,
second. He died in Thor 2, and then he died in Infinity War.
He dies in Thor 1 also. He died,
yeah.
He fakes his death in
3
1.
times, 3 times, yeah.
Yeah.
He fakes his death twice.
Yeah. And then he dies for real in Infinity War.
And then they said, oh, shortcut. Honestly, smartest thing ever. That was like the smartest backdoor pilot, was letting Loki leave with the cube and all that.
And then the TVA and stuff. But that's the thing, right? Like this Loki in the show saw everything play out, everything like that. But there has not been an ounce of him like missing his brother, things like that. So I'd want to see them explore that type of thing. Like, hey, I've been here. I've done all this. What's it been for you? And then Thor is just like, holy shit, you're alive. Mm-hmm. Like, I'd want to see that dynamic. And, like, the fact that no one's playing on that idea really fucking sucks.
Yeah, we should have had a hint that Loki was still out there, maybe like in Thor 4.
Something.
By, like, the end of the movie.
Yeah, or at least, like, on Loki's perspective, use his show to be, like, drop hints to Thor and be like, hey, no, like, I'm still here or something.
Or like the TVA or whatever, like he could probably see the timeline unfolding and being like, oh, look how far he's gone now or something, you know?
Something to show us that he cares.
We just got to move in a different direction, I think. I think the Thor that they were going with Taika Waititi, don't get me wrong, I did like Ragnarok. I'm not going to lie about that. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought they were going a good direction, but then they just went too far on the goofy side by Love and Thunder. And I know Ragnarok and Love and Thunder is not everybody's cup of tea, but I will say out of the two, Ragnarok for sure got it a little bit better. And honestly gave us a very peak Thor by then too, which was weird. By the end of the movie, obviously. By the end, obviously in the middle, I mean, you could say it's dumb or whatever, but how does Valkyrie take down the God of Thunder who controls lightning with a taser?
I don't know.
That's insane. So maybe he's not fit to come back, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe for some that's a bad thing. I personally feel like it's a good thing. I would be okay with that. I don't need him to come back. We need a whole different direction. If anybody that I think should have it, and I've been seeing a lot of people talk about it. Some people said Chad Stahelski, the one that made John Wick 4 and John Wick and all that. I personally think the person that made Extraction, like him and Chris Hemsworth doing the Thor movie together. Wow, dog, that shit would go crazy.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
Crazy. Sam Hargrave. That's his name.
Yeah. Sam Hargrave.
Can't fucking like that. Whenever they announce somebody, it needs to be Sam Hargrave. I think he does well with action scenes. Now, hopefully, we don't see Thor rocking a AR-15 blasting motherfuckers, but you know, it is what it is. But moving on, if you're looking for more Fantastic Beasts, stop looking because apparently it's paused indefinitely.
Stop looking.
Yeah,
you won't find it.
Yeah. So, David Yates, the man who brought Harry Potter to life after I think he started with Prisoner of Azkaban and basically ran the whole franchise.
Yeah.
Came back for Fantastic Beasts, missed out on the second one, but then came back for Grindelwald.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically came out and said and asked when asked about the whole franchise, he said that filming Fantastic Beasts 3 was particularly difficult due to the pandemic. And now the series is taking an indefinite hiatus. With Beasts, it's all just parked. We made those 3 movies. We made the last one through a pandemic, and it was enormous fun, but it was tough. We were actually filming when there wasn't a vaccine. Thank goodness no one got sick, but we did have the most detailed protocols in place. And that was basically the end of that. But saying that it was parked indefinitely says that Grindelwald did not do good.
Of course.
Let's be honest. Not just the whole pandemic ruined this movie. We cannot say that.
We know why.
They took out Johnny Depp.
Yep.
Obviously, Johnny Depp was playing Grindelwald for the first 2 movies. Actually, Colin Farrell played him in the first one up until the very end. Then Johnny Depp came out. Then Johnny Depp was all in the second one. And then they go with a different character altogether to basically play Johnny Depp's character. They could have just went back to Colin Farrell, but they didn't for whatever reason.
Like, I'll use the fake. No.
Yeah. And then they said, oh, he faked everybody out again. It's Ian McKellen. I was like, bro.
Damn.
I loved these movies. I loved the first one. The second one kind of took a dip, but I thought it was still cool to come back to the Wizarding World. I will say, till this day, I have not seen Grindelwald.
I haven't seen it either. I've only seen the 2. This franchise was something I was really looking forward to. I really liked exploring other aspects of the Wizarding World. Like, I hope one day we get a movie on the fucking Azkaban. You know what I mean? The prison. Mm-hmm. Like, that'd be pretty fucking cool. Like, imagine, like, a Prison Break movie, but from that dark-ass pit.
Yeah.
But, like, I want things like that explore it differently, you know, outside of Hogwarts, basically. This was my little outlet, and I loved the first one. I like seeing all the creatures, the animals, things like that.
Yeah.
Like, why couldn't they just...
It was funny, too.
Yeah, why couldn't they just do that? You know, like, make it like Pokemon, but like the Wizarding World, you know what I mean? Like explore all that shit. Make him on the hunt for like a rare species of hybrid or something like that.
Then it kind of morphed to hunting Dumbledore.
Yeah, and then, they turned it into this big crime thing, you know, probably to bring in more fans and stuff because it wasn't tied enough to Harry Potter. They had to bring in fucking Gandalf and whatever else.
Gandalf.
Yeah.
It's not Gandalf.
Dumbledore, and you know everything else, and that's where I think they failed heavily because they wanted that mystery and this and that. But I think if this franchise was just them playing with the aspect of going and finding these animals and actually about the Fantastic Beasts, it would probably have thrived so much better. They didn't have to worry about, you know, changing Johnny Depp and this and that. Just make it about Newt, his friends, and going on adventures. That'd be fucking cool.
Yeah, if Johnny Depp was a one and done case and basically got locked up, and then by the end of the movie he escaped, and then we see, you know, him going to the third one, it would have probably did a little bit better justice. And I'm pretty sure what hurt it was that Johnny Depp's face wasn't on the posters anymore.
Oh yeah,
I know Ezra Miller was going through his stuff too, so that could have probably hurt the movie as well. But for a fact, I know Johnny Depp, he was the big ticket draw, even though he wasn't really shown in the first one. But after we heard Johnny Depp and everything, that's what made people sit down in the seats for the second one. And then when we heard he wasn't coming back, by that time, people were just,
this is a waste of fucking time.
Yeah, because
for me it was just a waste of time because again, they made me lose interest in the actual thing. Like, how are you gonna call it Fantastic Beasts and then slap like fucking Dumbledore on it.
It's about beasts, but at the same
Here's
time,
people.
the Dumbledore and all these people is like, yeah. I get the whole Pokemon aspect. I think they did do a natural progression throughout the movie because it was about him going through finding animals, but then eventually got wrapped up in this whole like syndicate type shit, which is fine to start off. And if they would have made Newt a bigger person and then actually gave him some kind of like training behind it and not just, oh yeah, I just catch animals, but I'm really good at fighting at the same time, then it would have been different. I'm not happy that it got parked because I did want to see more Wizarding World stuff, but I think they got to go back to the drawing board, and I wouldn't say rebooting the Harry Potter franchise was the route to go either.
I totally forgot we got in that show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that show.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Goblet of Fire already.
More in detail, please. I want to re-see it again instead of watching Grindelwald. I mean, I would have enjoyed this too. I like I said, I was thoroughly enjoying it. The first one really had me hooked. By the end of the movie, that final battle, finding out that it was actually Johnny Depp this whole time, I was like, what the hell? Like, what's going on here? We were just talking about animals and stuff, which I'm very excited for the second one. And the second one was good. It's just, it didn't hit the same as the first one. And then by the time the third one rolled around, I was just like, well,
I don't care.
Am I on this ride for sure? Like,
yeah, I don't know. It was easy to check out early of this franchise. It does suck that it's parked. Maybe they could have done something different. But, I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see if they pick it back up again.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, because he did say indefinite. They could just be waiting for it to all blow over and then just be like, hey, Johnny, sign this contract.
Come back to Critical World. We know what we did, but
I'm sorry, but we didn't do it like Disney.
Yeah, we're not Disney.
Well, actually, it's worse because he did shoot a scene and they just completely were like, no. I wish we could see that scene. That'd be nice to at least see what he did. But moving on to our last topic of this episode, and Josh, this one's for you, 100%.
Okay.
We're getting a new video game. Maybe not the one that you want. The hit horror movie Barbarian is coming out with a video game. What the fuck are we gonna do in this game, bro? God. You're just gonna get a jump scare from the mom? Like, dude, no.
You might get a first-person view of those.
You're about to die. The titties are just in your face. You're just like, this is not what I wanted.
Oh, no, dude, no. I don't think I can live with this. Like, why do we need a game? Why do we need a game? Like, the movie wasn't enough torture.
It's going to be a single-player, all-new narrative experience being developed for consoles and PC. Diversion 3 Entertainment, the studio behind the horror video game adaptations of Friday the 13th and Evil Dead, is leading development on the Barbarian game. In association with New Regency Pictures, the game will be based on the characters and creatures of the movie. So I'm going to be able to play as Bill Skarsgård getting his head smashed in a wall multiple times. Count me in. Damn. I want to see his POV. Like, how far did he get before he seen her and was, like, running back and was like, we got to get out of here. And, you know, next thing you know.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about this one.
No? You're not going to play? This is not on your... No? Before Spider-Man 2? No?
Yeah, no. Can't do this. The movie was unsettling as fuck. And I don't know what it is about horror games. They capture that element
too good.
So much better for some odd reason. I don't know if it's the immersion, me actually just, you know,
I think it's
being there.
Have you ever played that PC game where it's like you got to get that mouse through the little lines and then eventually that little pop-up scare? It's just the whole you being concentrated on one thing and then they're like, oh, this is easy. And it's like, oh, what the fuck happened here?
Like, I see gameplay because I know I don't play scary games, but like Resident Evil, things like that. I've seen you play Resident Evil.
That shit's scary.
Like you will be walking, you hear a creak, you just stop, and you put the controller away. You're just like, well, I know if I go any further, you're gonna spook the fuck out of me over there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just pause it here. Like it's that kind of thing that I get, and I know I wouldn't be able to finish a game like this simply because I get scared with video games like that.
Yeah, I still got to play the second Resident Evil, but I did play the VR version, and that shit spooked the shit out of me. And then there was another game called The Evil Within.
Yeah. That
one was fucking scary. I was playing that game and that shit scared the fuck out of me. Remember we were kids? There was one game that we were actually playing together and that shit freaked the fuck out of you. I'm trying to remember what game it was. but we're like, you were like, what's going on or whatever, and then like there was a bunch of jump scares. I'm trying to remember what it was.
I can't remember.
Was it Slender Man?
Slender Man?
You remember? It was on the Wii U.
Oh yeah, Slender Man. Yeah.
Was it Slender Man?
Yeah, the Slender Man one.
Yeah, that shit.
And then
was.
the one like when you enter that little building, I think
Yeah,
you enter the little building, and you were looking at a paper, and then you just heard shuffling behind you, and then it's jump scared us, and we were just like, "What the fuck happened? We didn't even see him. Was he chasing us the whole time?"
Honestly, you just hear scuffling. It's weird.
And then like we find out that he was chasing you the whole time. We had no idea until you read that paper. Mans came in like a quarterback and just not
with
quarterback,
no
like a lineman.
Yeah, no, that
Just
shit
hit
was
you.
bad. But I'm excited for this. You know me, I'm a horror fanatic. I love this shit. I will eat this up 100%. Now, knowing too that it's gonna be on consoles, PS5 is gonna look pristine. Hopefully, it looks really good. Video game from movies, they really hardly look good. So hopefully, this one looks really good. One that's gonna be a real testament to see how far video game tie-ins go is gonna be that Rebel Moon game. 100%.
Oh, for sure.
That's gonna show us how far we've gotten.
Can
from these
movies
times.
adapt to video games?
Well, then again, I mean, I don't know if you've seen that trailer for that one Fast and the Furious game.
No. Is it
No.
a Fast and Furious game?
There's a Fast and the Furious
I'll
game.
have to check it out.
I'll show it to you after this because we're basically about done. With that being said, guys, thank you guys for coming out to the live. We appreciate you guys. You guys out there listening on the podcast version. Remember, we are still giving you guys exclusives. Not all of them are live. I think last week's on Thursday. That one was a recorded one as well. It wasn't a live. So make sure you guys follow all of the podcast links and all of our socials up there for those in the live stream. And Josh, for those on the podcast, let them know where they can talk to us, give us a movie review, support us in a big way, even catch one of these lives one day.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, at Filmbros Podcast. We post new episodes are up. You can hit us up there for any news or movies you want us to cover. Support us in a big way. Buzzsprout, link is in those bios of the socials I just gave you. Supporters get special thanks on episodes and perks just made for you guys on the side. Not available to people who aren't subscribers, obviously. Listen to us anywhere you get your podcast. At Filmbros Podcast, Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, things like that. We're on a bunch of sites. Anywhere you get your podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube at Filmbros Podcast. And then to catch a live, to be a part of the conversation in real time every Saturday around noon-ish California time, because I suck at PT and ET and whatever else. That's the time we're on. And we go live throughout the week. Keep those notifications on at Filmbros Podcast on Twitch.
Yeah, with that being said, we'll talk to you guys on the next one.
Talk to you guys later.